Taisoba, thank you for joining us. Here are the weekly highlights of Arakan. 5 civilians killed, 6 injured in junta airstrikes on 2 Rathedaung villages. Closure of Mizoram Paletwa trade route causes price increases in Rakhine. AA and Chin Brotherhood to jointly resist junta counteroffensives. Around 8,000 displaced people in Gwa urgently need aid. Families hold merit ceremony for villagers abducted by ARSA. Cultural exchange festivals held in Maungdaw to promote harmony. Armed clashes between the Arakan army and the Myanmar military have been ongoing for almost 2 years. In this weekly segment, covering November 10th to 16th of 2025, we'll be bringing you key developments regarding the situation in Arakan. 5 civilians killed, 6 injured in junta airstrikes on 2 Rathedaung villages. 5 civilians were killed and 6 were injured when the Myanmar military launched airstrikes in the morning of November 15th on Paletwa village and Maungdaw village, Rathedaung Township, territory controlled by the Arakan army. At around 10:03 a.m. on November 15th, the junta dropped 2 500-pound bombs on Paletwa village, killing 3 civilians and injuring 4. 2 minutes later, at 10:05 a.m., another 500-pound bomb was dropped on Maungdaw village, killing 2 civilians. Early on November 11th, 5 local residents, including 1 woman, were injured when junta forces from a naval base and the 12th Police Battalion shelled Maungdaw town. Frequent junta airstrikes on AA-controlled areas have caused a rising number of civilian casualties, including children, and locals are living in fear. Closure of Mizoram Paletwa trade route causes price increases in Rakhine. The Mizoram Paletwa border trade route has been temporarily closed for a week due to an outbreak of diarrhea in nearby villages, leaving traders and travelers stranded at the border. Authorities from India and the Arakan army closed the route from November 12th to 20 to control the spread of the disease. More than 100 travelers, including Rakhine traders, are currently stuck. The prolonged delays are increasing the food and living expenses, transport costs, and leading to spoilage of perishable goods. Many traders and recently discharged patients are also trapped there, raising health concerns as the outbreak continues. The Mizoram Paletwa corridor is the key trade route that supplies essential goods to Rakhine State. With the closure and a halt in imports from India, locals report shortages and rising market prices. In Shanlawa sub-township located along the border, about 300 people have been affected, and the AA Public Health Department says it is providing treatment. AA and Chin Brotherhood to jointly resist junta counteroffensives. The Arakan Army AA and the Chin Brotherhood CB have been coordinating preparations amid expectations that the junta may launch counteroffensives operation in Chin State. During an emergency fundraising event on November 8th, Chin Brotherhood spokesperson Salai Yoman said AA and CB would cooperate not only on defensive operations, but also forge military, political, and economic alliances. Since October in Chin State, the junta has been conducting major assaults along the Rathedaung Road as well as from the Maungdaw mountain ranges toward Phalem, leading to heavy clashes. Military analysts say AA's assistance, including ammunition support and strategic coordination, is intended to help block junta forces from entering northern Rakhine through Chin State. Sly Yoman added that the junta is deploying thousands of troops to regain territories ahead of planned elections. Currently in Chin State, the Chin Brotherhood controls Matubi, Monte, Kampala, Palan, while Danlan is held by the Chin National Front (CNF) and Paletwa is controlled by the Arakan army. Around 8,000 displaced people in Gwa urgently need aid. In Gwa Township, at the southernmost part of Rakhine, about 8,000 internally displaced people urgently need food and medicine, according to a statement issued by the Gwa IDP Support Committee on November 10th. The records show 7,925 IDPs still cannot return home and are facing hardship due to a lack of assistance. Gwa is a coastal area where fishing is the main livelihood. However, junta Navy vessels have been firing on and arresting local fishing boats, worsening people's ability to earn a living. Across Rakhine, nearly 600,000 displaced people still cannot return home and are suffering from limited aid, unemployment, and soaring commodity prices. Families hold merit ceremony for villagers abducted by ARSA. Families of the 3 villagers abducted by the Muslim armed group ARSA from Konshon village in Maungdaw Township held a merit-making ceremony for them in the second week of November. On October 24th, ARSA took away 3 villagers, including a 10-year-old girl near the foothills of Mayu Mountain, while they were herding cattle. There has been no contact or information about them since then. The abducted individuals are Maungdaw, aged 10, Uma Watuan, age 40, and Mo Tuan E, age 22. Concho villagers rely on forest and mountain work for their livelihood, but ARSA threats have made it extremely difficult for them to work safely. In Rathedaung and Maungdaw areas, ethnic villages face both physical and psychological insecurity due to the threats from Muslim armed groups such as ARSA. About 9 villages have fled to safer areas. A is currently conducting clearance operations against armed groups and has warned civilians to be cautious in their movements. Culture Exchange Festival held in Maungdaw to promote harmony. In Maungdaw Township, local ethnic communities gathered for a culture exchange festival organized by the Maungdaw Youth Union. During the first week of November, traditional cultures of The, Mro, and Tagama Dainet groups were showcased. Organizers said the aim was to foster unity and friendship among the ethnic groups living in the region. Northern Maungdaw is home to Rakhine, Khmer, Mro, The, Dainet, Mahamagi, Khmer, Shan, Hindu, and Muslim communities. The organizers said future events would include all groups. During previous junta administrations, cultural expression in Maungdaw was restricted. Under AA control, ethnic groups are now able to display their cultural heritage freely. The Arakan army, which controls most of Rakhine, continues to expand administrative, judicial, health, education, and development institutions in the areas under its authority. Rakhine is home to many ethnic groups living side by side, and AA says it is working to strengthen social harmony and promote inclusive participation in rebuilding Arakan. These were the main highlights of the past week in Arakan. This program is presented every Tuesday, so please stay tuned. May all people of Arakan and the world stay healthy and safe.